Hey, everybody, we're back with our monthly conversation. Joel Goldberg and Casey Wright, President of Chief of Staff, Kansas City. He's in his beautiful office. For once, I think I got you topped, buddy, because, and I'll be in the shadows here a little bit, but the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. I know that as a FOMO guy, you've got FOMO right now. Do you not?
I do. I've only been to Wrigley once ever. I need to go back, but got some guys there for a bachelor party this weekend. Keep your eyes open
Of course you do.
for Bryce and
Oh, boy.
Paulie. I know they're staying right by Wrigley Field this week.
Okay, I know who to avoid this weekend. Okay, that's fun. What a great place. I know before we get into the topic I want to talk about this month, I was going to say to you, what cool places have you gone this summer? I've got back-to-back trips to Fenway and Wrigley. I had somebody the other day say, hey, have you gone on any cool trips? I'm like, I work 6 to 7 days a week every single day, but I get to go to some of the coolest ballparks. You, on the other hand, have had some good family time, right?
Yeah, I spent a couple weeks out in Colorado, Southwest Colorado. Hadn't spent a ton of time there before. That was great. And then last weekend we were in New Orleans for a 40th birthday. And New Orleans is one of my favorite towns in America, but New Orleans in August is a little bit different than I'm used to. So It's nice back to get to this cool 90-something degree weather.
Yeah, for sure. I just, for me, in the midst of the grind of a baseball season, when you get a chance to go to a Wrigley, which is not even as old as Fenway, which is the last trip I was at. You can hear the great sirens on the north side here right now. But that's the beauty of covering a baseball game in the middle of a neighborhood. And so sometimes I have to I'm not getting vacations, but you get a chance to get away by enjoying the history of some of these places. But the topic I wanted to talk about was eliminating the noise. I think you and I are both guys that jump right in the middle of the crowd and are used to all that interaction. I would suggest you do it better than I do in your business, the networking that you do, but sometimes you got to quiet things down, and sometimes you can get pulled in a million directions no matter what we do. And I'm wondering sort of how you go about that, because if you were to say yes to every single invitation you have, there aren't even enough hours in the day.
No, that's for sure. And I think it's a little bit ironic that we do have a siren going off in the background when you're talking about eliminating the noise.
Where's the noise? Yeah.
It's hard. It's not easy to do. I don't know that I have a definitive answer for this. I tell my people at work all the time, I said, be good people, surround yourself with good people, and work hard. And that's what I try and live by every day. And by surrounding yourself with good people, you have a group that you trust. So people do reach out to us all the time, whether it's for business or social or whatever. But I try and align myself with folks that have very similar morals and values, completely different backgrounds, and that's great. But I have a select handful of folks here in town that if they refer somebody to me, I'm dropping everything to go meet with them because I trust their introduction that much.
I think that's a great point, and you and I could rattle off a dozen, 2 dozen people that we know that if they say you need to meet this person, you don't even ask why, you just do it. The flip side is, and this is, I think everybody's a little bit different with this when it comes to eliminating the noise, is that you never know. And so there's one theory out there that says always say yes because you never know. The other side to that, and I'll play devil's advocate as someone that just, especially during baseball season, I don't have all the time, and people forget or don't realize that I'm traveling on every single trip. You know this because as neighbors and good friends, I think I was over at your house a few months ago or something, which seems crazy, but that's the season, and so you understand that most people don't. And so the challenge becomes, how do you figure out how to say no, or to maybe switch that into a 15-minute Zoom call, or figure out a way to say, I don't know if I can commit an hour and a half to that. And that's the challenge, because you do really never know, right?
You don't ever know. And sometimes I end up putting people off longer than I would intend to, because if I'm meeting with somebody, whether it's a Zoom, a phone call, a lunch, a happy hour, I do end up giving them a lot of time. I believe in a full story and really getting to know people, and a lot of one-on-one time. So I sometimes tend to put people off instead of scheduling that 10 or 15-minute conversation, because I know a lot of times my conversations end up going an hour or two or more, and that's because I'm long-winded and something I need to work on. But you never do know. Some of my greatest relationships I've ever had, both personally and professionally, come from a spot where I have no idea, I have no intentions, I go in with no preconceived notions. Like we're talking about, somebody said they're a good person, let's meet them and see where it takes us. So it's hard to weed it out. I can't tell you how many times this week alone I've had people like, how's Joel? You guys been hanging out a lot? I'm like, guys, what time of year is it right now? So it's respecting people's schedules too. So
there's a lot there in terms of reading the room, in terms of, and by the way, that's true. That goes both ways too. I mean, the bottom line, we'll wrap it up with this, is I think that when you can make it easy on someone else, and when they can make it easy on you, that generally leads to a good interaction.
Absolutely. Yeah. Friendships and professional relationships, the easier are, the better they grow. And a lot of times that's just proximity, honestly. So
good stuff. Great to see you. It's been a while, even virtually. It's just so weird since we live down the street from each other and are close friends. But for once, I'd like to say, as beautiful as the home offices are in Brookside of the Chief of Staff Kansas City crew, I got you beat today. I am doing all right. Here's the 360 of Wrigley Field. Sorry about the shadows and the glares and all that type of stuff, but not a bad thing for a stadium built something 100+ years ago. I don't know. It was 2 years after Fenway. I always remember Fenway was like the same week that the Titanic sank. So we're talking about a lot of history here. Good to see you. We'll do this again in person soon.
All right. See you, buddy.